And we're back. It's 12 minutes before 1 p.m. You're listening to Bolton's Can We Talk? With us in the studio live in person. I'm very happy to say Mr. Arsen Gulesserian, proprietor of thishouse.ca. Check out thishouse.ca for all your information that you may require. If you're thinking of buying your house, if you're thinking of selling your house, check out thishouse.ca. Our phone lines are open, 905-951-2899, or you can email a question about anything related to real estate at info@radiocaledon.com. We have an email with interest rates still low. My husband and I are looking at buying an investment property. What advice can you give on buying a good rental property? I like that question.
Actually, it's an excellent question. I believe in investment property personally. I would say almost 99% of all my clients, after they buy their initial property for them to live, I always talk about the option of in the future, as you have equity, is to buy investment property. The fact is real estate is 95% of the fortune made throughout the world on that. It is a consistent, steady income. It is unlike the stock market where it goes up and down. I know that there's some people who made a lot of money in the stock market, but at the end, I also know a lot of people lost a lot of money, especially in the last year and a half on the market. Real estate is a long-term investment for people. It's not a one-year investment. It's not a 6-month investment on that. I'm a firm believer that to buy a property and to rent it out in a long-term thing. With the interest rates being so low and you have a little bit of equity, I highly recommend you find a property in a good location. The property structure-wise is in good condition as far as windows, roofs, so furnace, air conditioning on that, because you don't want to take on any additional expenses on that. And what you want to do is rent out your property. At this situation too is have a professional realtor actually do the lease agreement to protect you. A lot of people don't know under the Tenancy Act, a tenant has more rights than a landlord in residential. And with the right clauses and conditions when you are to rent out a property, a realtor, you're protected as much as a tenant out there is. In commercial, it's the opposite.
It's the exact opposite.
It's
yes.
the exact opposite, and that's why a commercial, landlord could just decide to kick you out and you're gone. But in residential, it's completely different. And it is important that you're protected. And people say, how much does it cost for me to, rent out? It's just 1 month's rent is basically the expense. But that 1 month's rent, what we do is a credit check, history check, reference check,
employment check, criminal history check,
everything that is involved with it. Listen, you're making an investment. It is so important to get the right tenant in there, and you as the homeowner have the right to refuse anyone on that. And if something doesn't add up, then I would say just walk away from the deal. And sometimes you could be fooled by someone comes in and shows a lot of money up front. It doesn't mean anything. You want good professional tenants that are going to take care of your property. I would suggest that you visit the property at least once a quarter and keep an eye on it. But I encourage you to go with buying a property, rent it out, and look at a 5-year investment. As the market possibly peaks, for example, anyone who bought 5 years ago, I advise almost every single one of them to sell it this year because you're going to make a killing on the market. And if you look at an average of a property, like a detached home or condo starting at $1,200, like a small condo in the GTA starts at $1,200 to $1,400, that's one bedroom then. That's about $22,000 a year in your pocket on that.
The whole subject of rental property can be spent actually another hour, and I wouldn't mind having you back to talk about that because that's actually one of my favorite topics as well. You touched upon the topic of comparing real estate to, say, the stock market. Now, I'm going to claim ignorance because I really don't know anything about the stock market, but what's really interesting in terms of your return for real estate, say for instance, and this is just for example's sake, it's not a reality-based example, but if you spend $10,000 on your down payment on acquiring a property and the property's worth is $100,000, now that doesn't exist anywhere near I live, I know that, but if that property goes up in value by say $25,000, your return on $10,000 is 250%, just on that basic mathematical proportion. Now, I'm not an expert, check with your accountant, let me stress that, I'm just giving a simple mathematical formula. So buying a property to rent out and allowing the equity to increase is a great way to increase your net worth. And that's, again, just my opinion. Check with your accountant and make sure you get expert advice before you make a move. But that's just a simple example.
Definitely. I mean, historically it's been proven that I always tell clients when they're looking for investment property, When the value of the property goes up, in general, historically, it's an average of between 5 to 8% a year on that. I would say that it's a bonus. Focus on having someone else pay for your mortgage, and that's where you're making your money. If you have a property and you're renting, at $2,000 a month, you're looking at $28,000 a year approximately of income on that. And let the property be paid by someone else, and that's where you're making the money. And the bonus is at the same time, every year your value of your property goes up historically. If the market does go down for whatever reason, just don't sell. Keep it.
Just keep it, maintain it, and hold on.
Keep it. You got nothing to lose. There's a lot of people hit the panic button when there's a flux in the market. Last year, when we had a little hiccup in the market with the U.S. economy and the world economy, actually, a lot of people panic and they try to sell their property.
Well, here's the thing then. A savvy investor will just roll in and pick up all the deals that are there. So if you can weather the storm, if you have the intestinal fortitude to hang on, it's well worth it in the long haul. And speaking of savvy investors, if somebody is looking at buying an investment property to rent out, typically, my experience has suggested that they don't just use one realtor only. They use a number of realtors in different markets and the like. What are your thoughts if somebody calls you up and says, I'm looking at acquiring this rental property. Now, I work with other realtors in other areas.
Yep.
What would be your approach? Would you then just agree to a buyer agency for that one property that you're dealing with?
Definitely, definitely. Professional investors who have gone through this process, they basically don't put all their eggs in one basket, meaning that they geographically, they choose various sectors throughout the city and surrounding area, even miles away on that. And so I am not going to work with a buyer that is looking for a place that is 100 kilometers from where I currently work at on that. Not a problem. I will work with them. I will do a buyer agency agreement for that specific geographic location, and I will represent them, protect them, and represent their best interest on that. As an investor, you're looking for a sharp negotiator that could get you an incredible deal, because that's the bottom line. When you hire a realtor, you're looking for a professional negotiator to save you money.
Now, your answer puts me even more so at ease, and I want to commend you on that. You understand the nature of the mindset of an investor who's looking to acquire a rental property, and you also have that mindset that there's plenty to go around. Just because you don't have a buyer agency for all properties that they may or may not buy, you know that you're happy to assist them within a clear defined area, and you're quite not threatened if they're using other realtors for other opportunities. And that's in line with your website, thishouse.ca, because it's a great wealth of information whether they use your services or not on thishouse.ca.
It's an information place, a one-stop information resource center, and that's what I call it. It's an information resource center that you could go on a regular basis. It is constantly being updated, and anything you want to know about real estate, and if there's something that I am missing you want to know about, please send me an email. I'd love to address all your questions on that. I'm here to provide service for the average person out there who doesn't understand real estate. I need to take that worry about buying and selling on that, because truthfully, I try to make it a pleasurable experience for you on that. As a professional real estate, we take on the stress away from you and allow you, listen, buying a home should be an enjoyable experience. It should be a happy moment. It should be something that, it's a dream that we all strive, is to have a property that we call it home, and it's a place where we raise our kids and family, and you should not be stressed out. A professional realtor that helps you through the financing, helps you through the negotiating, helps you through the conditions and clauses, eliminates all the risk for you, and you just get to enjoy it, and that's the beauty of it.
You're listening to Bolton Can We Talk. I'm Ron Batty at CJFB-FM on your FM dial 105.5, streaming all over the planet if you're hooked up to the internet at www.caledontoday.com. Our phone lines are still open at 905-951-2899, or if you like, you can submit a question to Arsen at info@radiocaledon.com. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after these commercial messages.